Hey, what is good with y'all? It's your boy King Avery, and today we are looking at another photo of what appears to be the controller for the Nintendo NX, and we're just gonna have a deep discussion about it. And then after this, y'all can give me y'all's opinions and thoughts on the matter of this controller, and if you believe I'm right or if you believe I'm completely wrong. So, as a lot of y'all may not know, I am actually with Team Real. There's Team Real and there's Team Fake. Right now I am strongly supporting Team Real. Now, looking at the controller here, I want y'all to take key notes of this controller right here. This is the first picture, and then we'll talk about the second picture. Now, if you look on there, you notice the controller nubs, the circle pads, are like that of the one that is on the 3DS. You know, if you have the 3DS, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have the little circle nubs that spin around and they move across the controller. Now, if you look at this, it's pretty much the same thing. They have the exact same circle nubs. Now, also, what we have here is noticed around the frame of the controller. Look at the frame of it. It's raised up a little bit. It's raised up slightly. It's a little lip. And then you have what appears to be like a little trigger up at the top, right? Okay, now we're gonna look at the new picture of the controller, and this one is in black. Now, if you look at this controller, now you can see it a little bit more pronounced that there is definitely a circle pad very similar to the 3DS on there. And you also notice the raised lip of this controller, right? Now, also another thing you may notice is that the frame is also raised up around it, right? Now, we have a better picture of what this controller looks like, but before we actually go ahead and we talk about that picture, we're gonna discuss this one right here. Now, if you notice, everything is pretty much falling in line with the previous picture. And these are two completely different areas. As you can tell in this picture is definitely shot a lot more quality. And matter of fact, there's actually a big surrounding around that you can't see, that I just went ahead and zoomed this picture in. But you can see that it's real glass on this screen. There's nothing photoshopped about it. And you also see where there is a headphone jack that is plugged into the bottom. Now, if you do look over there to the left corner, it says confidential property. A lot of y'all will go ahead and call that fake if you want to, but it's not. Okay, now this is the other picture of the controller. Now, looking at it right here, you see there is a headphone jack, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why I think this controller is the way it is. Now, majority of it is one smooth glass, right? And according to the leaker of this photo, they said that the little circle pads are just like circle pads on the 3DS, where the little nubs just move on the top. And also on the top you have like a new form of trigger. It's more like a scroll mouse where they click in and they can scroll left, across. Like if you look at your mouse on your computer, you notice that in the center of it, it has like the little scroll. So I'm assuming this will more than likely be for some of the navigation purposes. So let's say if you want to slide to the left, slide to the right, whichever, you could scroll back and forth that way, as well as you can probably click them. Also, it has haptic feedback supposedly, and there's a 3.5 millimeter jack at the bottom. Now, a lot of y'all may say, okay, well, why is there a 3.5 millimeter jack? That's not a big deal. A lot of controllers have it. However, this controller, I believe strongly, is a hybrid between a handheld and a console. So, like a lot of the patents have been talking about previously, that this controller can actually be a standalone device, which is what y'all will probably be playing y'all's new Pokemon on. Y'all may not think it right now, but I strongly believe that you'll see it show up on this console right here. But the reason why it's so smooth is for portability. If it had a lot of buttons and a whole lot of, like a real controller is, then it wouldn't be as portable. Now, don't get me wrong, there will be a regular standard controller. This is just the main controller, just like the Wii U has a main controller, and then you have, your other controller, your Pro controller. This one will have a Pro controller as well, but this is the handheld as well as it is part of the console. So it's allowed to be a little bit different, and that's why the screen is the way it is, and that's why it has a screen on it. Also, I believe it has system memory in it built into the controller. So what you'll be doing is, you could have a form of the game downloaded directly to the controller that is you could take on the go. It'll be a downscaled version of the home console version. So, and then when you get back to the house and it syncs back up with your TV, then of course, then it will go ahead and act as a regular console game. So you play a downscale version. So rather than making two versions of a game, one for a handheld and then one for a console, it'll be one version that is compatible with both. And the controller is strong enough to handle, being a standalone device just like the console is. So you can expect probably something like a PlayStation Vita kind of effect here, except it's all built, it's built to be this way, instead of like PlayStation Vita was originally kind of like a hybrid. They went ahead, it was its own thing, and then they brought it where it connects to the PlayStation 3. But this right here is technically is part of the console itself. Now, I said this earlier about the way the controller is built. Majority of it is a touch screen, right? It also allows you to have buttons in any place on the controller, as well as, like I said, because it's a touch screen, it allows for better maneuvering, which means you can slide your finger left and right on the control pad itself, and that will make it a lot easier for people to make quick adjustments. So let's say if you're playing Call of Duty, like I said previously, you could quickly aim at a person that is over to your left or to your right just by sliding your finger really quick to that particular direction, and you're able to target a lot faster, because just like on your cell phones or your iPads or whatever, you're able to maneuver a lot quicker, just like kind of like mouse and keyboard. And that's the effect that it'll have, as well as you have your physical, circle pads that are there. I know, granted, a lot of y'all don't like the circle pads, but it is a good form, and they went with the circle pads because they're flatter and they're smoother and it's easier to fit in your pocket or whatever or what have you. So, it makes it a lot more portable if it is that way. Now, if they went with like the standard nubs for the controller, then of course, it wouldn't be quite as portable. And also you notice that it's kind of smooth all over. You see it's rounded right now. That may not be the final design, but you see it's kind of rounded, kind of smooth. So, it's easily able to slide in a pocket or something similar to a cell phone. And more than likely, I would assume that there would be other little peripherals like cases and stuff that you can slide your controller in when you're on the go. But I think in general, like, there's a lot of rumors that went into it as far as it being able to sync up with cell phones and all this other stuff and other junk, which it makes sense. Like, you'd probably be able to even sync Bluetooth headphones with your controller. So when you think about an Android device is pretty much based off of touch screen. It's not based off of, like physical clicking this and physically clicking that. It's not like a keyboard and mouse. It's not like a computer. It's not like a console. It's based off of mainly touch controls. So, and this is the problem why they said that they had a lot of issues with a lot of people looking at it and thinking that it's Android, when it's not technically Android, but it is kind of like in the same realm of Android. But y'all should all have an open mind towards this controller. Trust me, it's way better than y'all think it is. You gotta remember, this is a developer unit, and even if it wasn't a developer unit, I still think that a lot of y'all would end up liking this controller way more than you think you will. But you gotta remember, everybody rejects stuff that's different when they first initially see it. It's the same thing with the Wii controller. When the Wii controller was first shown, or should I say leaked, a lot of people did not believe that that was a real controller. And then over time, it came into fruition that it actually was the controller, and that it was not a fake controller, per se. So it is more than likely, like I said, I'm with Team Real. This is going to end up being a real device. It's a real controller. It's a real handheld. So don't just call this a controller. It's really a handheld and a controller built into one device. So anyways, those are my thoughts on it. Leave down in the comment section below, what do y'all believe, whether or not this has like the actual raised up pads to make actual buttons. I'm not too sure on that yet, but I think there is quite a possibility that it does. But judging by the leaks, no one has brought in any mention to it having raised buttons. So we'll just have to wait and see. More than likely it probably will, because this is just a developer version. And of course, Nintendo keeps some secrets to themselves. So the developers know that they can position pretty much where they want the buttons on there. But they do not know that it actually allows you to have physical buttons there. At least not on their unit right there. But on the final unit, don't worry about it. It's going to have a form of tactile button that you will be clicking. So it's not just completely touchscreen. But anyways, if you enjoyed that video, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. I create new content every single day, and there will be lots of Nintendo NX news coming here daily. So if you want to be one of the first ones on these rumors and everything else Nintendo NX, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to y'all in another video. Peace.